Hi everyone, welcome back to my gardening and allotment YouTube channel. If you are loving my videos, I would love you to subscribe. My name is Emma, by the way. These are my allotment diaries. As you can see, I'm in my bedroom at the moment because I promised you a Q&A video. However, I did venture to my allotment plot the other night. I haven't been there for a little while because the weather in London has just been so terrible. Like literally, we've just been having storm after storm. So I haven't managed to get there for a while. I did venture there the other night, which was a complete disaster and so scary. It would have made a great Halloween vlog, but I didn't get there in time for that. But I will show you some of the footage from that now. Guys, this feels like a little bit like a horror movie here at the moment. I'm actually here at my allotment plot at night time, and the reason I'm here is because my son has got karate, so I'm around here anyway. I've got nowhere to go, so I thought I'd just come down to the plot and see everything, but I didn't realise how dark it would get. And then I thought, oh, I can't vlog because it's too dark to vlog, but I thought I'd sort of document it just in case I go missing here. Don't say that, why am I saying it? The more scared I get, the more I say things to make myself scared, and I don't know why I do it to myself. Anyway, I'm here and everything's been eaten, so I'll just show you quickly because why not? Right, I've got my torch on. I don't know if you can see here, a lot of it's been eaten, and these are my lovely 3 rows at the back, and then just round here, look at this. It really is like a horror movie now because it's like dead plants. It's like the polytunnel of death, which is such a shame because everything was just doing so well. Now it's just all dying, isn't it? I do have some little baby pumpkins to pick though, which I might just go and do now. Oh God. I'm just going to shine this torch at my face. I don't look suspicious at all, do I? Just down here I've just noticed that my little munchkin pumpkins are ready to pick now. When I say ready to pick, I mean there's literally no pumpkin plant left. It's literally just these little pumpkins sitting there. That's it, that's all I got. So this one's not done too bad. Oh, this one, hang about, this one's actually got some colour on him. Look at him. There he is, he looks alright, you know. That's all I got though from my, you know what, I should have done this vlog on Halloween. It's really creepy here at night. It's really scary. At least I got something out of them, considering that I actually planted those in like end of September. So not too bad. I can't see where I'm going now, guys. I'm gonna have to, that dog barking just makes it so much worse. Right, nasturtiums have just taken over this. It's like no one's been here for like years. Oh gosh, honestly, how can it go so wrong so quickly? Over here though, I did notice that my, look at this, my Romanesco is massive. So exciting. And then down here I've got, look, these have come back to life suddenly. And these are pak choi. Very exciting. Please don't let anyone be standing behind me like some kind of horror film. I literally can't show you anything else because it is literally so dark. I've just seen down here that dahlias, the dahlias have all collapsed. Absolutely collapsed. And my gladiolus never flowered. I think I got one that flowered and that was it. So I don't know what was up with them this year, but they've just not flowered at all. What's that? Oh God. I don't know if this is actually going to show up on camera, if you can actually see me like this. But I'm turning my torch off because I'm a little bit worried about attracting attention. Wind. So as you can see, it was just not a very good idea to go there at night. I would not recommend it, especially when it's windy. Genuinely, I was afraid that I would be impaled by something because the wind was just so intense last night. I thought I would do my much promised Q&A. I've been putting this off for a little while because I didn't think it would make a very interesting vlog, but as the weather has turned, I just thought, okay, let's just sit down and have a chat and let me tell you all about me, because I haven't done this yet on my channel and I get a lot of questions about who I am and, you know, what's going on with my life and stuff. So if this is interesting to you, keep watching and I'll hopefully answer all your questions. Okay, so I've kind of split these up into about me and then about allotment plots, and then about my pumpkin arch, because these are kind of like the question like groups that I kind of get asked a lot. So I'll start with me and about me. Who am I? What do I do for a living? What is my life like? So I am 34 years old. I live in South London with my husband and my 2 children, Alice and Tom. Alice is 10, nearly 11, Tommy is 8, and we live in a little Victorian terrace which is basically falling down, so we're kind of constantly having to find money to put into the house to fix things that keep breaking, but we love it. We love living in London. We like being near to the train station. I mean, so close that the trains are literally, the railway line is literally behind my house. So what do I do? Well, before I did YouTube and I had my allotment plot, I was working with young children in a school. I'm actually trained to do that. I have a degree in early childhood education, so I was kind of working in nurseries and schools and things like that, and then I had my own kids. Then I left my job because it was a year contract. I kind of took work as and when it came because it had to fit around the kids, and I left my job because the contract came to an end, started looking for another one, and then the pandemic came about and happened. I left my job, I put my name on the list for an allotment plot, and I was just like, I'd like to have a plot of land just to grow fruit and veg on. And there were loads, there's loads around me where I live. There's probably about 10 allotment plots in my borough, and I managed to get one just before we got locked down. So I got it in, I think it was like October, November, and we got locked down end of February, was it? So I had my allotment plot, and I was looking for another job, and then the pandemic hit, and I just thought, okay, I'm just going to put everything into my allotment plot then and just do this instead. Picked up my camera, I just started filming it and vlogging it, started putting it up. You can go back and see the beginning of my journey. My vlogs were just all over the place, crazy, filming whenever I felt like it. Yeah, I don't know, people started to watch it, and then I started my Instagram, and I have nearly 50,000 followers on there, which is insane, and I just started documenting my allotment plot on there. And then I think because we had the pandemic and the lockdown, gardening kind of blew up, didn't it, and everyone wanted to do gardening, so it's led to loads and loads of opportunities for me. So I've been on a podcast with Jimmy Doherty talking all about my allotment plot. I've had a little like stint on TV as well. I was on the Great Gardening Revolution, the Great British Gardening Revolution or something on Channel 4. And then more recently, like, brands are starting to work with me. I don't know if you've noticed, I've started to get a few ads and like products sent to me that I can try out, and I also get a little bit of money for advertising them and for reviewing them, which is amazing. So I am starting to build up a little bit of a career. In terms of what I make on YouTube, it's another question I get quite a lot. Not very much. Making money just out of YouTube videos isn't very profitable. I don't get paid very much for like ad revenue. I think you probably have to be getting thousands and thousands and thousands of views every week to earn a decent amount of money just from YouTube, but I do get paid for the adverts that I make and stuff like that. I also have a blog, thepinkshed.co.uk, just below, which was recently put into like a top 10 gardening blogs in the UK, which is amazing. I showcase all my writing there, and if you guys are regular followers of me, you might know that I love writing. Writing is my true passion. It's the thing that I've always wanted to do with my life. Right from when I was a kid, I always wanted to be an author, always wanted to be a writer. And I contacted a couple of gardening magazines, and Kitchen Garden magazine got back to me, and the editor there, Steve Ott, is just amazing. He's given me, I don't think he realises how much like opportunity he's actually given me, but he's allowing me now to write regular articles for their magazine, and so I submit all the photos for it as well. And it's the fact that I'm getting published in a magazine has just led to, it's just opened the door to so many more opportunities. I literally am a freelance writer. That is how, if people ask me what do you do for a living, I say I'm a freelance writer, because that is what I do. And yes, I am in talks with a couple of publications about releasing a book, which is just beyond exciting. I've been trying to do this for like over a year, and I keep having my confidence knocked, so the book keeps getting through to like the final round, whatever it is, and then it kind of gets pushed back and people go, oh no, actually, I'm sorry, we're not going to publish it. So that's happened to me 4 times. Really hoping that one of these publishers now finally it like gets through and actually gets made into a book. So fingers crossed, and I will obviously let you know all about that. That was a really long introduction as to who I am. I hope that answers a lot of your questions. I do get a lot of questions about what I do, who I am, what I do for a living. If I wasn't doing YouTube, I think I would probably have gone down the writing route, and I'd probably have written a novel by now or something. I'd have written something by now because writing is just my life, really. Now I'll move on to questions about my allotment plot and gardening in general. So what inspired me to get gardening? Well, a few things. I think I've always been into the outdoors and into nature, and I like gardens, and I rented for so long. This is our first house, we've had it for 3 years. I've rented for so long that the garden has always been a place that's kind of out of bounds. And you know when you can't do something, like when something's not available to you, you kind of want it more. So I used to like look out the window at the garden and just be really annoyed that it wasn't my garden and I couldn't like go out there and actually dig in it and do what I wanted to do with it. I used to get really frustrated. So for that reason alone, I got into gardening and I was determined to have my own garden. And then my nan died. And I think when I lost my nan, and it's funny because it's only now looking back that I can see the connection between my nan dying and me getting into gardening and growing my own food. Because it wasn't a conscious decision. I wasn't like, oh, I'm grieving, I'm gonna go and buy a load of seeds and grow a garden. It just kind of happened. So my nan died, and then I think the following spring was when I started buying all the vegetable seeds for my rental garden. I started growing into pots and things. I ran out of space and I just wanted more space, and that's how it just came to be with the allotment plot. It's as simple as that. I just ran out of space and I wanted my own plot of land that was completely for me. Right, what is my favourite thing to grow? I think anyone who watches this channel regularly is gonna know my favourite thing to grow is my pumpkin archway, which is why I got so frustrated with it this year when only part of it grew. But I love growing pumpkins. I think squashes are just the most fascinating, craziest things. I can't believe that so much comes from such a small seed. Next year I'm definitely going to be experimenting with lots of different varieties of squash, and I'm just going to get my archway right. I'm going to do it next year. It's going to be perfect. What is my worst thing to grow? Oh, my worst thing to grow. That's really difficult because I don't know why. There are definitely things at my plot that won't grow very well. I've never had a very good time with garlic and onions. And I think carrots don't normally work for me. A lot of things don't work, but I don't not enjoy growing anything. That doesn't make sense. I don't think I have a least favourite thing to grow. I think I enjoy growing everything. I wish that everything would grow and not everything does grow. That's frustrating, but I like growing everything. I think everything's fun to grow. I wish I had a greenhouse so I could actually start more like sensitive seeds, like flower seeds. I'd like to grow more flowers, and I think I'm annoyed that I can't because I don't have a proper greenhouse and I don't have the storage space to keep the seedlings and all that stuff. But other than that, I'll grow anything. No dig or dig. Interesting. So this always brings up a lot of debate on my channel whenever I talk about no dig. I just want an easy life, guys. I hate weeding and I hate all the effort that goes into having to dig. So when I read about, you know, no dig, just literally layering it up, I was just like, this is my kind of gardening, guys. This is so much easier. I like no dig because it is literally easy. I don't like no dig because it's so bloody expensive, and I haven't mastered my own compost yet, so I find it really hard to figure out how the heck compost happens. That is something I definitely need to train up on because I don't get compost at all. So I have to buy all my compost, which means that no dig is quite expensive for me, and I find that frustrating. But in terms of like the ease of it and stuff, I think no dig all the way. How big is my allotment plot? My allotment plot is 130 square meters. Actually it's 135 because I did steal a little bit from the front, but nobody knows. Nobody cares. So yeah, it's 135 square meters. It's not the biggest, but it's not the smallest at the plots at the allotment site. Some people have half plots, which I think are like 35 square meters or something like that, so that you can get a really small plot. I find mine adequate enough to grow what I want to grow. Sometimes I say I want more, but then it kind of gets into summer and all the weeds start to come and I lose control of half of it, and I think, oh thank goodness it's only this size. So I think you can grow a good amount on about that amount. I think you can grow more. I think you can grow on any sized plot. People always say, how big should I ask for an allotment plot? I think just take what you can get and just figure out, like, grow stuff vertically. Grow a lot of crops that you can, you know, harvest quickly and then put something else in the ground. There's ways around it. You can grow in any space. How much time do I spend at my allotment plot? Not enough. I spend more time there in the spring and summer because I go there almost every day, because there's so much to be doing, and also I make these vlogs as well. These vlogs and Instagram keeps me accountable, and I need to be creating content, so I'm there quite a lot, even if I'm there just to film a video. Yeah, I enjoy it, but in the autumn winter months I'm there a bit less, so probably once or twice a week. How do I manage my kids and the allotment plot? So when I first got my allotment plot, we'd just gone into, well, we were going into the lockdown, so it was kind of easy because I just took my kids down there all the time and called it like learning. And I guess it is learning, it's real life learning, isn't it? So I found it quite easy with my kids, but then my kids weren't that young. I think Tom was 5 or 6 when I got my allotment plot, 5, so I just had to count back then from 8. Yes, they were old enough to kind of get them involved in things, and my kids do like gardening. Tommy in particular seems really interested in gardening. Alice a little bit less so, but then she's older and she's into her phone and, you know, Roblox and all that stuff. But Tommy is more hands-on, and he quite likes coming down and digging and stuff like that. So I found it quite easy with my kids personally, so I guess I'm just lucky. Okay, I'm gonna go on to questions now about the pumpkin archway. I get so many questions about my pumpkin archway, so I'll try and answer them for you here. I've got 3 main questions. Number 1, what variety should I grow over an archway? So I'm the expert on this because I made the mistake of growing the wrong kind of pumpkins over my archway. Now the truth is you can grow any squash vertically, okay, any squash, even courgettes will grow up because they have tendrils, and tendrils are those really long, thin, green, twisty things that come off of a plant. If a plant has that, it has the capability of pulling itself up onto something, and big giant pumpkin plants do have those. So I tried to grow those giant jack-o'-lantern ones up my first archway, and basically they just were snapping off and the archway was collapsing under them and stuff like that. So if you have a really strong, sturdy structure, you could probably grow any kind of pumpkin up. I prefer the smaller varieties. So I grow Jack Be Little, Baby Boos. I tried the Ukikikiri, but mine didn't get going, but I will try those next year. They are excellent for growing up an archway. Trombonocini, those long ones, the long ones. The little munchkin ones, all of those will grow. The only ones that I wouldn't grow up an archway are patty pans, because I found that they're more bushy, and they don't really want to climb, they want to bush out. So patty pans I would grow just on the ground, but any other kind you can just grow up, just grow them up. Do you have to train them to grow up? No. This year I didn't tie mine in at all, not even one time. The trick is to plant your pumpkin the correct way round, and that way is the opposite way of the first true leaf. So when your pumpkins are growing, okay, so you've got a seed in the pot. Here we go, one of my crazy explanations. You've got a seed in a pot, it starts to grow, okay, and then you get the first leaves, which are the seed leaves, okay. So every seed that you plant, the first 2 leaves that it gets are seed leaves. They're not real, okay? They're fake leaves. The plant's deceiving you. They're not real. The leaves that come after the first 2 leaves are the true leaves. Now, when you watch your pumpkin plant and it gets those first fake leaves, we'll call them fake leaves because it's easier, right? 2 fake leaves. When it gets this first true leaf, you plant it the opposite way is the way it's going to grow up. Okay, so your first true leaf is going this way. You need to plant your plant facing the archway that way. All right, opposite way of the first true leaf. And then your pumpkin will be growing in the direction of your archway. Now, if you put it next to your archway in the correct way and it grows towards your archway, it will automatically start to cling on and pull itself up it. Okay, I did not tie mine in at all this year. I have tied them in before when I planted them the wrong way, and then you can just very gently train them round to go the way you want, but be careful because the stems do snap quite easily, okay? You can tie them in if you're desperate to, or if you want to, I don't know, like manipulate where they're going and cover the archway more, you can do that. The Jack Be Littles and Baby Boos, they support themselves. I have never had to give them any additional support. They've never snapped off. Okay, because they just do not get big enough and they just hang down beautifully. Just leave them alone. Okay, that's my advice with that. I hope that helps. And the final question that I get asked all the time is how many pumpkins do I plant? So my speciality pumpkins are Jack Be Littles and Baby Boos. On these plants you can get up to about 15 pumpkins, okay, but you kind of want to keep it between 8 and 10 because then the pumpkins are going to be getting the nutrients that they need, okay? So each pumpkin plant will grow about 8 to 10 good pumpkins. So bear that in mind when you're growing it because you will be inundated with pumpkins. On my 2 arches that I have made, I put 3 each side. This year, only 1 pumpkin grew, 1 pumpkin plant. It covered pretty much one whole side of that archway and gave me about 11 pumpkins. You could probably get away with just doing 2 pumpkin plants and you would get plenty. You get beautiful archway and you get plenty of pumpkins. I would say a maximum of 6, so 3 on each side because you want to give them enough space. Pumpkins are susceptible to a disease called powdery mildew, which is a fungal disease. Lots of squashes get it and lots of other plants get it too. It's a white powder that appears on the leaves and it will eventually kill the plant. And planting your pumpkins too close together kind of enhances that. It makes it spread because the disease likes to spread in humid, cramped conditions. So you need to give your pumpkins lots of airflow, lots of space between them. So less is more when it comes to pumpkins, okay? They're massive plants, they spread out, they're crazy, they're like jungles. Okay, so less is more. And I hope that helps as well. It's surprising how much I actually know about pumpkins and growing a pumpkin arch. I could talk all day about it. Let me know if you want a video just about me chatting about pumpkin arch. I hope you enjoyed this little Q&A, this is probably going to be a half an hour video. And yeah, let me know if you've got any other questions that I didn't answer in the comments and I will reply to your comment and answer your question. Let me know if you've got any other video requests from me because I don't normally take video requests, but if there's something that you're absolutely dying to see and want me to make a video on, I'd be quite happy to do that, except about family life. I think I'm not going to make videos on specifically on my family life. I'll keep that separate from this, and that just means that my mental health stays intact and I'm less likely to go, you know, just crash and burn out of YouTube. I like to keep it separate. So, but anything to do gardening or allotmenting or my allotment or allotments in general, anything like that, let me know. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm going to leave links below to my blog, my Instagram. That's it. And I'll see you in my next video, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.